This week we have Maria as a guest, a very good friend of ours. Um, she's also on Facebook. She also does a lot of other things. She'll probably tell you about them in our interview today. So thank you for joining us, Maria.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine.
Great.
This week in history, folks, you hear about what's going on with the gay marriage thing and how I have to gaify my picture on Facebook now?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it, folks. I don't think I'm going to do it. Um, I think I'm just going to leave my picture up there. But why don't you go ahead and tell people who you are and what you do and how you got into the business you're in and why. I always ask people why because it's interesting on why people get into what they're into.
Well, it started a few years ago, and it started actually about in 2011, I believe, when I was laid off from my job. Actually, the job had expired, and the company had closed. So, by the company closing, it was a little difficult finding work. So basically, what I was doing was I was just trying to go online, to mess around and try to do different things. So what happened was, I noticed that when it comes down to the LGBT community, as far as transgender, that a lot of men do not take as serious as far as society as well. So basically, what I was trying to do was start some type of joint thing where the transgender girls could stop being victimized of a lot of hate crimes and stuff like that. Most times when transgenders are murdered, it is not recorded and it's not even on the news. So a lot of times when they do report it, it's always referred to in reference to the male name is never in reference to the transgender woman's name. So basically, what happens is they fall up underneath, society as far as being a man being murdered. And then when you show up to the funeral, whatever the case may be, there is a woman there, that was a transgender. No one knows who it is. So basically, what they're trying to do now is push for people to understand exactly if a person lives their life as a woman, they need to be represented as far as the paper, the news, or anywhere as a woman. They shouldn't be
So
inside the
you do
picture.
advocacy work, basically. You're an advocate for those people that don't have a voice.
Yes, somewhat.
Now, here's a question for you in the advocacy work. Do you ever see, well, first, it's my area. We have a bar here um, that I guess services or people go to that are in that community. However, uh, they're closing because they claim they're not getting enough business. They're closing because they're being harassed. I have seen when they were in a different location, I actually signed a petition that was for a city when somebody tried to set the place on fire. Um, Also, I guess the owner was murdered. They claim it, well, like you said, they don't want to put it in the paperwork, so they said it was a botched robbery. However, I think the truth is that somebody is trying to take advantage of somebody, and some miscommunication happened, and somebody got even with somebody. That's my personal opinion. Now, do you see a lot of times in your work that is it the trans, the LGB or whatever you call it,
Transgenders.
and the homosexuals, and I don't know what proper words to use here for them, so I don't want to call them gays because,
Well, they are gay, so.
well, see, that's another thing. The audience here may not understand that a transgender is somebody who wants to become a woman, not somebody that dresses like a woman because they want to get freaky. I understand that, but I don't know if my audience is going to, so I'm going to use the words like tranny and gay and homosexual just so they get a better view in their minds of what we're talking about here. Do you ever see that maybe, perhaps, in this field that may be them as well? I mean, I've seen some here, and not only are they rude and obnoxious, but they actually expect people to do stuff for them. Like the one downtown, she will have, I use she because it's a she, she has a flag that she'll wave around in front of people and make a big deal about stuff. Um, and one that is always yelling and screaming on the bus. You see where sometimes the negativity that they get or the people have towards other people, maybe because of a misunderstanding or something somebody else has done.
Well, the thing is that people are afraid of something that they don't understand. It's easy to put a negative light on something versus trying to get to know a person. A lot of times people don't give another person the opportunity to get to know them. They so preconceived to judge them, but when it comes to them, the story changes. They want people to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm in this mental health system, which we will probably be talking about. We talked about last week.
Well, this is the
I'm
thing. This is the thing, right?
also looking for work, so I understand how you got. But here's the thing: what can people do to better either get their voice out if they're listening today and they want to get their voice out, or if they're people like me and may feel sorry for somebody because something happened, or maybe they want to be advocates themselves. I'm sure there's people listening that are saying, I want to step up, I want stuff done. But what are the positive things? Because recently, due to the gay marriage or whatever you want to call it, that the Supreme Court said, I don't care that two people are together. Let me get that straight, folks. Unless you're marrying an animal or doing some weird stuff, I don't care what you do in relationships. But here's the thing. What if they want to stand up? And what if they want to, I mean, a lot of negative stuff has come from this. What positive things can they do instead of being angry and getting stupid and promoting bad issues? What can they do positive to better themselves or others?
You mean what can society do positive, or you mean what can gay people do positive?
Either one, either the
What's
person themselves or society. I mean, for instance, a lot of just recently in the news here, I've been looking at some news stories because Facebook is posting. We all know Facebook; it's not bad, but some people will post one side of the story and never hear the other side of that girl, of that guy that was beat up. Well, apparently he was the victim. The other one, he started a fight with some Christians that were protesting. He walked up and punched one of the protesters in the face. So what I'm seeing in my head here is violence on both sides. So what can society do, and the person themselves do positive to make it so that there is no fighting, there is no miscommunication, there is no misunderstanding. I mean, somebody can't walk up to somebody and go, "Hi, you're a tranny. Can you explain yourself so they understand better?" On the other side, the tranny can't walk up to society and ask them to explain themselves. So what positive things can they do
well, see, this is the thing.
to not be afraid? If they're afraid, what can they do not to be afraid of?
Okay, this is the thing. As long as we live in this world, we don't really owe anybody any explanation of what we do within our lives. And as far as trying to get people to, understand where we're coming from, there are going to be people who are going to accept you, and there's going to be people who won't. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, they just won't accept you. I learned to live and let people do whatever they want to do as long as it does not involve me as far as being in a valid surrounding. Now, as far as trying to get a person to get a better understanding of me, that is on that person within themselves. Everybody's not going to walk together. Everybody's not going to do the things that other people do, whether you LGBT or straight. People just people's going to accept whoever they want to accept and not. Now, as far as being a transgender person and trying to get somebody to understand me, I really don't care whether they understand me or not. However, there has to be a certain amount of respect. Now, when it comes down to the straight people, they feel as though we need to sign off of their approval, and it is not true. But if we hand over that same apple to them for them to bite out of it, they don't feel as though they don't feel as though they need to explain anything to us. So they's like, well, I don't have to explain anything to you. Who are you? And that's our same argument to them. The reason why they do the gay marriages and stuff like that, as far as equality, is because we're paying taxes, we're doing everything that we need to do, law-abiding citizens and stuff like that. You're taking our money, we're helping with this, we're helping with cops, salary, firemen, and different things within the government. So why is it that we have to be on a scale? Oh, well, you can't do that. That's for us because we're better than you. But if you're so much better than us, then you should be paying all these taxes and let us not pay them as well. If you want to be fair, let's be fair. But I learned that when it comes down to certain people, they feel as though they're privileged and that they're better. And when it comes to straight society, they have to understand that we are all within the same type of community. We just may do things a little bit more differently when it comes to a sexual act, as far as two consenting adults. But when it comes down to society, they feel as though they have that right. But then you go to society and you think of what the things that they do. You know, you have the woman who takes her baby, she pushes him in the car and she lets him go down. So that's society's way. You have a man who beats his woman or a woman who beats a man. That's society ways and that it's right. And then you have the Bible people who want to throw the Bible verses at you, and they say when they always want to throw the certain things within the Bible they use, but then certain things they take out. Now, when you think about the Bible, it says that a man that's married to a woman, if she shall divorce, he needs to stone her to death. I have not seen no one sit out and stone a woman to death, but yet and still they take things out of the Bible when they use it. It says, thou shalt not kill. If thou shalt not kill, then why do we have all these dead animals sitting up there on church Sundays and food that's being served? You know, it's funny how it works. You know, why do you take things that you want to use to hurt someone else, but then you don't use the same thing when it comes down to you when you want to swing a Bible into someone's face? And then we talk
Yeah, it's
about
an eye for an eye and a tack for a tack is what you're saying.
right, and when we talk about God, there is only one judge, there is God. Now, if we said there is only one judge, God, why is everyone playing God if they're not God? So, and this is what I get from that message. When you decide you want to play God, that means you're saying, God, you know what? I'll take care of this. You go do something else. Now, you are in his church, you are in his home, and you're representing of listening to him of a message and praise. So why are you telling the man above, I'll take care of this, I'll judge them, you go do something else? And then why is it that they always say, well, God hates fags, God hates this? Now, if we always speak of
Well, let me break in here right for a minute. It does not say in the Bible. It does not say in the Bible that God hates homosexual.
right,
The message that they're trying to put out is that God said that a man's supposed to be with a woman. Nowhere in that Bible does it say that he hates anyone, unless you're going against his commandments. Now, as far as I'm concerned, everybody is a human being. Everybody should be treated equally. Now, there are people out there that are a-holes, assholes, morons, in anywhere you go. But go back to what you're saying, I agree. I agree that people will say, I want this and not have it this way. I want this for this, or I don't do this and that. But here's a question on that. What happens if what is happening, like for instance with the marriage, what's the bottom line on this side from your end of the view? From my end of the view, two people want to get together. I don't care. It's not about the paperwork. That's all marriage is to me, is paperwork.
exactly.
You're filling out a piece of paper saying that I will incorporate someone's last name to my last name so we can share stuff legally. That's all it is. You're looking at it. At least in New York State, that's all the law says. There's other states that do have saying that if you're together, you are, an entity of themselves. There's also states that are very areas, counties that are very religious, that have very strict things to get married. Now, here's another thing. How much of this issue actually affects the LGBT community and from my view, from what I've seen, people have been together since the world was made. They never had to deal with paperwork. They didn't have to deal with politics. So why is it an uproar in the first place? To me, I don't even understand what the uproar is. Two people are together, so what? Leave them alone. As long as they're not marrying animals or doing anything with animals, I don't care what they're doing.
It just goes back to what I said before. You know, when people don't understand something, they hate on it and they don't try to get a better understanding. You know, when you walk through this world and you're different, people don't really know how to adapt to that. And I've learned that. And the thing about it is that people don't know how to adapt to things that they don't understand because it's different. And the thing about it is, in order to be a leader within the world, you must be different, because if you flock with the rest, you'll only end up being like the rest. But when you're different within yourself, it's always going to create controversy. Now, the thing about being different, I cannot expect a straight, I mean, well, a straight person of society to accept me or anyone else who is different, because God sent Jesus to the earth and they killed him because he was different and all he was trying to do was help people. And so if they could kill him, and of course I'm way far from that level, but if they could kill him that was trying to do something good, what do I think they're going to do with me?
Yeah, it's, let me get this straight for our listeners here. I do not condone any violence. I think violence against people because of, see, I don't like to use the word lifestyle, but I'm going to use it in this case. Your lifestyle, somebody doesn't like, they have no reason to tell you how to live it, unless you're doing something wrong.
But
Which is wrong.
can I interrupt you for a second? Can I?
For instance, somebody could say it's wrong to eat fattening foods. And the other person would say, no, it's wrong, to eat the healthy foods. I mean, just on that example alone, people fight over it. Just on eating, people fight over it.
Okay.
In my opinion, they have no reason to tell you how to live. No one has any reason.
Well, see, this is
I know I'm going to be bashed for this later on when this is on YouTube, but I realize that people do it. Now, how do we stop people from doing it? Or is there not any end to it? I mean, do we just have to sit here and say, well, John and Mary and Joseph and Sammy and Jennifer, they're all going to yell and scream at us, and they're going to treat us bad anyway, so let's walk away. Or can we turn around and look at them, too, and say, okay, now it's time to pick on you. Let's see what we can find wrong with you.
right. See, this is the thing with me. As far as the word lifestyle, the gay lifestyle, but the straight people have the straight lifestyle. So that word can be divided together. It's not a lifestyle, because what a straight person does is their lifestyle. What a gay person does is their lifestyle. And the thing about it, like it gets back to, it comes down to who are we to judge somebody else for what we think that they should do. And as far as us singing Kumbaya, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. If it will, great. If not, so be it. The only problem that we have is that we have to learn to accept people, let people do what they need to do when it comes down to business, going into work environment, make sure you can get the job done, make sure you're here to do responsibilities. When it comes to your bed, when it comes to your kids, when it comes to your home, that is your business. I could care less. What are you doing inside of your bed? And they should be concerned with that.
Well, when it comes to somebody's children, I want to add real quick, if they're mistreating their children, that should be our business. If they're acting stupid, then that should be our business.
Well,
I
of
think
course, but see,
what you're trying to say is how they raise their children, how they dress them. If they want to take them to the playground and let them play in a sandbox all day, and I let my child play in the playground all day, who cares? You know what I mean?
right. But when you get to the point where you say, we say acting stupid, we have society, which is the straight people who are acting stupid. You have a society guy who sit up there who was straight, who went inside of a church and killed 9 people. He said he felt bad because he was really nice, but he had to kill him. So that's the ideal of straight people.
Well, there are people out there who will point a finger at somebody no matter what they're doing.
Right. This is
they
what I'm
handing out $100 bills to the poor.
But see, this
will look at them and tell them that they're wrong.
But see, this is my question. If you're constantly pushing things into people's head that God hates homos and God hates this and God hates that, now I'm a person who knows better because I know my God and I know He created me. And I also know angels don't have a sex. They're neither male or female. But the problem is that if all these things are taking place as far as a person's sexuality, and people who have a problem so much with that, why is it that they don't have so much of a problem? Like, why did God make white people? Why did God make black people? Why did God make Chinese people? Why did God make Africans, Jamaicans, Germans, Russians? Why did He make all these people? And it's funny because people just want to have everybody in a box. Everything's supposed to go a certain way, and it does not, because everybody likes to take the rule of God and start playing it themselves, and they pass the dish of judgment, and they feel as though they are right to pass judgment on other people. Every mother shouldn't have a child. That's why some mothers go through this distress and they kill a baby. You know, everybody's not supposed to go a certain way. That's what makes us human. But when we become to the point where we want to, you know, judge people and tell people what we need to do for their lives that do not concern us, then we have a problem.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also agree to the fact that there are people out there that will on purposely try to disrupt people's lives
Of course.
because they don't like it.
The
Now,
world
I don't think I do that.
the world
However,
is filled up with
it
good people and bad
has been
people.
accused of ridiculing people because of their lifestyle. However, it's not so much as ridiculing. It's just I don't understand. Like for instance, why do people like to drink blood? Why do people like to go to the club and dance all night? Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't want to make fun of you if you do.
No, I
Dance
stay
all
home.
night, and then they wake up the next day and go into work looking like crap and can't do a darn thing at work. Well, why don't you go to bed at least an hour and not go out dancing and wait until the weekend when you have no work the next day? See, I don't understand that. Why do women wear? Maybe you do this too. Why do they wear skirts halfway up their butt and then wonder why a man is thinking things about them? I mean, that's what I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
However,
understand.
people could say, well, Wade is not being decent. He is thinking wrong thoughts. He is ridiculing. He is judging. You know what I mean?
I understand. Just like my thing is why are most cops cross dressers? Why are most priests well not most why are so many preachers and stuff like little boys? You know, why do women hate gay people, but yet and still they have sex with women and don't feel as though it's wrong because it is nothing wrong with two women having sex, but it's something wrong
So
with
what
men
you're
having sex.
saying is that there's women out there that hate gays, but yet they'll have sex with women
Of
too?
course, of course.
Oh, that's being crazy. That's what I call being crazy right there. You're ridiculing
No,
somebody
it's called the
that you're doing
hypocrite.
it to.
Let me tell you something. There are a lot of people that are hypocrites. There's Jim McGreevey who went out there. The governor was it Governor Jim McGreevey. He was like, you know, they had did the gay thing, you know, as far as passed the bill, as far as the marriage. He didn't want to be bothered with that. Then all of a sudden, the whole thing scandal broke out that he was having sex with some guy. And then when it all broke out, his wife and everything stood next to him while he was talking, you know, in reference to that he was not going to be blackmailed and he was going to let the world know that he had, you know, he was gay. But all this time, you was denying it. And and the reason why I use him as an example, there are tons of men out here that's like him who cannot deal with their sexuality. And they feel as though if they can suppress their ways and don't have sex with the same sex, that everyone else could do it. Now I'm gonna tell you the turn of that is. A lot of times when men cannot deal with this and they feel as though they should be able to hold their needs when it comes to being attracted to the same sex, and they feel as though other people should do the same thing, they go get with the woman. They end up beating the hell out of her. She don't understand why he hit her all the time, why he treat her like dirt, because he's not attracted to her. He's attracted to men, but he has to make her pay for what he cannot tell her of his sexual preference because of what society says about him, and it bothers him. It makes him drink. It makes him mad. It makes him upset. He overexerts everything.
Well, see, there's no reason for a man to beat a woman, even if he is insecure with his wife. Um, However, I think you're right. I think I don't focus on black.
Well, see, my thing is this: is that it's not
A
right
lot
for
of the white
anybody to hit
males, I've
anyone.
seen it. I know people that, for instance, I know somebody that was married for a number of years. He got a divorce and he went with men. Now, I was totally like men first. I think he's just a pervert, but that's my personal opinion. Um, then I know somebody that was with women. He's been married multiple times, and I guess now he's with a man.
Because
And I guess his
exactly,
wife is
see,
doing better.
you
I don't understand it.
you
But like you
just
said,
confirmed my
who am
point.
I to judge what they do if I don't understand it? And here's another thing. Maybe it's the fact, like myself, I'm not going to go out there and go and be with a man just so I can understand how this man feels leaving his wife and being with a man. However, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to point fingers about it. I'm going to hate the person for it.
But see, the thing about it is that he's been that way all the time.
Well, see, that's what I'm still. I'm still Wacky. decided he had multiple marriages too. I think he's had like 5 marriages to women.
Yeah, because he's been that way all the
Now, there's a
time.
reason why if you're married to 5 women and you have no children, I don't know if he's having sex or what he's doing. I don't know any of that stuff. But you're married to 5 women. At least one of them you would have had a child with, wouldn't you?
See, that goes back to what I just said. Men who are gay or bisexual, well, whatever the case may be, who are not really in their skin or being comfortable, they take women and use them as beers for realities that they don't want. I know tons of men like this. And they use women as a beer because they really don't want the woman. And a lot of women always will say, "Well, I don't understand why he treats me so bad. Why he treats because he doesn't want you." And then the guy was like, "Well, he's not that into you." No, he's into men. He just can't tell you that because that makes him gay. The worst thing you could do to a man is make him look in the mirror at himself. He refused to look at the mirror himself. So what he does is he'll deny, deny, deny. And also when he sees somebody who's living their truth, like gay people say, "Oh, I can't stand them so and so's," or "I hate them," because the simple fact of the matter, he is a part of that world. And it goes back to what I said. When he feels as though he can suppress it and hide it to a certain point where he just say he don't care anymore, he's gonna just live it out. He's gonna live the lie. Same thing that takes us back to Bruce Jenner. You know, he said he always felt like a woman, stuff like that. He wanted to do it, but he just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, here's the question: how do you stop this? How do you look at somebody that's obviously not wanting his woman and saying, "Listen, be gay and set her free"? I mean, that's kind of weird. To me, that's kind of weird going up to somebody and saying, "You're gay, be gay, and leave her." When this man has probably spent all of his life. I mean, I know some people like they're saying, if what you're saying is true, some of these people have children, they have 3, 4, 5 kids. I don't understand how a man could be gay but yet sleep with a woman. Most of the gay men I know stay with men. They don't want to see women. I know one that if you showed him a naked picture of a woman, he'll throw up. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to be around it. He doesn't like it.
Because one thing you have to understand, when a secret is a secret, some people will take it to their grave by any means necessary. And that takes me back to, like, do you realize a lot of transsexuals are murdered by their own boyfriends?
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of stories like that. Now I don't
Yeah.
understand what's behind them.
Now,
But I do also agree with you that if any homosexual is murdered, they will always call it either suicide or they'll say it's being investigated because they don't want to tell the truth.
see, this is the thing. A lot of transsexuals are murdered by their boyfriends is because, and just as my opinion, either they're not working out because she's tired of him living off of her. He doesn't have a job. She's throwing him out. He decides he wants to rob her before he goes. She stops him. He kill her. Next thing you know, the cops catch him, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, I didn't know what she was." But that is starting to overturn because the cops are catching on to this now, and now they're starting to realize that these men have been lying. But that's usually been an excuse every time. And now they've been checking text messages and stuff like that and realize that these guys have been lying all this time. But the sad part about it is, you're living, you want to be happy. You want to find a man that loves you. And you have to understand, only straight men date transsexuals, not gay men. Gay men wants a man. Straight men will deal with transsexuals. Now, the thing about a straight man is, he's either going to have to deal with his truth or not. And straight men are not going to deal with that truth. He will sneak, he will hide, he will do anything he can, but he's not going to deal with that truth.
Yeah.
There are, to me, in my personal opinion, there are tons more, to me, down low men there are gay people.
Yeah, I imagine there's.
Oh, there are tons of down low people. And I'm not even just talking about men, I'm talking about women as well. The shoe fits all the way around the board. There's enough pie to serve enough people, and there are a lot of people. There are the bisexuals, there are the curious, there's the ones who just like them for sex, there's the ones who like to dress up. It's just a just a big pot of things. But the thing about it,
So the thing about dressing up also is, um, a lot of the people that dress up that really look like women, they're men with happy families. They're not even of the homosexual community.
And mostly those are cops. Those are cops. Those are cops, and those are the bosses of big corporations. Like 500 employees, 1,500 employees. And the reason why most of them do it that way is because they have to be in control so much, and they want to be dominated. So in order to be dominated, lose some of their power and become someone else, they'll dress up. And this way, they can feel more unempowered by someone else making them feel more
So basically,
femininity.
they're doing it for the kinky end of it, so they can dress up and get in all that bondage and weird stuff.
Well, see, the thing about it, the reason why they don't have to, but the reason why most of them do it is because by the by the positions that they hold in life, and they do know what society says and what society does to them, is that they don't want nobody to recognize them. So it's the best mask to wear is they cover themselves up and hide their true identity. This way, they don't have to watch the feedback of so and so did this and so did that, and this is their picture because you don't know it's actually them because they're dressed up in a whole, you know, cross-dressing routine.
Yeah. Well, I'm also talking about actual performers. I mean, I heard some of these people that dress up like women
Yeah,
get
well,
$1,000 for just a 2-hour show. It's
see,
about $500 an hour.
everybody who does drag or cross dress are not gay. The thing about it is that it goes back to what I said before. You have to let people be people and live their lives. Everybody's not going to do everything the way somebody else feels as though they need to do, because if that's the case, no matter what you do, it'll never be good enough. And I've learned that, within myself as well. I learned to live and let live. I'm not going to agree with a lot of people. A lot of people are definitely not going to agree with me. And we have to agree to disagree. And I just let, my thing is I deal with people who are like me, and the ones who are not, I just let them be.
Yeah.
And it's not even a gay thing, because there are straight people out here who certain people that just don't like me for no reason at all, and they can't try to convert them over. Well, I want you to like me. Sometimes you have to deal with the truth, and the truth hurts. Sometimes it's not the answer that you want, but it is the truth.
Yeah. And sometimes the truth hurts worse. The truth is stranger than fiction. And in
Yeah,
this case, probably the truth is probably weirder than if somebody told a lie.
the truth hurts a lot. Definitely the truth hurts, because in
And see,
some
I don't always use the thing the truth hurts. The truth is weirder than the lies. I mean, people can, like you said, lie and be with a woman and they're gay and they want to marry a woman. But yet, the truth of that is probably a lot weirder and more in depth than you can ever imagine.
the truth hurts when it's somebody that you really care for and you like, and you found out that they don't feel the same way about you at all.
So who's to help people like that? I mean, some woman's listening to the show right now. She's married and she thinks her husband is gay. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of people thinking her husband's gay after this show, probably. What is she supposed to do? Just go up to her husband and say, "Are you gay?" He's gonna say no.
Let me tell you something about a woman. Most time women already know their husband is gay. Because she's always going through his clothes. She always going through his things. She spots things. She takes his clothes off. She picks his pants up and stuff. She does the laundry. She checks his pockets. She checking for everything. She may see signs and stuff like that, but what she don't want to see, she won't see. And what she will see, she'll see. But she'll pick up on it.
So you're saying the woman already knew it when she married the guy that the guy was gay?
Now, it's not everything. I'm not saying every single woman, because there's some men out here you would never know. I've met men that, I would never think that they would even mess with someone like me and or a gay person or a kiss and be. So I can't, gay don't look a certain way. Straight don't look a certain way. Because I know straight people who are straight and they're gay. They act so gay that you was like, and I met women who love men who dress up like men. So it just goes back to what I said before. You have to let people live their
Yeah,
life.
I've seen that too. The guy will act like he's gay as all get out, and the guy I know has 3 children, a marriage, and he's married to a woman, and he's not gay at all. In fact, he's very open about not being gay, and some of his. But if you were to watch him on the bus or watch him in public, you would definitely think he was. See, and that's another thing. Why do people look at people and do that? Why do they look at somebody that's acting like, quote unquote, the word is pansy or queer, and look at them and say, oh, he's gay or he's this, when, the guy isn't?
Because as a society, what we do is we love to judge people.
Well, a lot of people judge me. They think my show is horrible. They think I'm horrible. But all right, we're coming up on a break right now. When we return from our break, we are going to ask the all-important questions that we ask when we have a guest on the program. So we'll be right back. Our guest this week, she is still here on the phone. Thankfully, she
Still
hasn't hung up on
here.
me
No,
yet.
I'm
So now is the time that I get to ask the questions that some people shiver at. And the first question I'm going to ask is, there are some trannies who have all their lives, even when they were children, knew that they were female. And then there are some that are men that change into women. And then there are some that do not change into women, that just portray women. And then there are some that, like yourself, are women. But have you ever been a man first? Or what happened with that?
Well, the thing about it, of course, I was born, with male genitalia. So the thing about me was, I don't know what it's like to be a male. I know what it's like to be taught to be a male. Because my parents was not very welcoming of me. I remember it very clear. My mother was in the bathroom doing her hair, and I had to be, I don't know how old I was, but I was just barely enough to reach over the sink in the bathroom. And I told my mother, I said, people always call me a girl. She said, well, what you do is you tell them, she said, you tell them you're not, you're a boy. She said, are you a girl? And I said, yeah. And after that, she started sending me out to hang with boys so they could kind of roughen me up to get me more tougher. Now, the thing about it is that you don't really know what you are. And if any parent who's raising a child, they looking at a kid and the kid shows you their truth. Now, if a kid comes out and they're showing you that they like dolls, they're showing you their truth. Now, you decide to miss that. I mean, you decide to change them and send them in a whole different direction than God has sent them down here to do. You're going to have them confused through their whole life doing things that they probably would have never done if you didn't confuse them. So now they're doing everything that you want them to do as far as trying to be a boy, trying to dress up like a boy, trying to do boy things. And this is not them. These are structured things from you. Now, if you let a person that comes out of a woman lets her child come out of her body being who they are, she'd be surprised how far they would possibly be. Now, what happened with me is that she puts me around a lot of boys and stuff like that. And I had no problem with that because I like the boys, so it wasn't a big deal for me. Now, as far as me dealing with my sexuality, I didn't know how to be a boy. Only thing I knew was how to do things as a boy because I was told what a boy's supposed to do. And I watched boys and I tried to do the things that they wanted me to do. But I wasn't fooling nobody. I never fooled anyone. My hair was always long.
So it was kind of forced on you. I mean, in a way, you're forced to be something and
Right.
do things. And you're like, why the heck do I have to do this? I don't want to do this stuff.
No, I did it because if I didn't do it, I was going to be beat. So, my father would beat me. They didn't want to have a gay child. So, of course, back then they, just would beat the hell out of me. But the thing about it was that, my father told me if I was going to be gay, I had to change my name and, stuff like that. Because I believe in my heart that my parents they used to make fun of gay people. And I think that they were the kind of people who didn't like gay people. So I always said God had a sense of humor. So since you make fun of gay people, I'm going to send you a child exactly the way you made fun of other people and sent other people home to cry. So they decided, I guess, when they saw, how I was, because I'm sure that they had a discussion about me. My father told me that they did know, that I was that way. My father said if anybody tells me anything different, that they were lying. My mother always knew that I was, the way I was. It wasn't a shock to them. The only problem was when I confirmed it. When I told them, yes, this is the way, and that's when they got rid of me.
Yeah. So are you estranged from your parents, or do you? I mean,
Yes.
now that you're a grown up and now, you know.
I don't know whether they're living or dead.
Oh, well, that's not good. But
It's
I
not.
grew up personally from a very close family. Well, my dad wasn't around, but I can relate to things. I mean, I grew up in the field. Everybody knows I grew up in a carnival circus atmosphere. I'm still involved in the entertainment business, and I can fully understand how you feel. And for our audience, I can fully understand and relate to some of the things you're talking about. I grew up too, just briefly. They called me a freak. Things that society and everything thought that I was weird. However, like I've always said, the people that make fun of you are also the people that are sitting there cleaning the McDonald's bathroom.
Mhm.
So, beware when you make fun of somebody because they may come into your McDonald's and you may have to clean up the bathroom after them. So here's another question. If you've never been a man, then what do you do about those urges? I mean, for instance, you're a woman that can be standing up. I'm not making fun of you here, but I think that's pretty cool.
I know a lot of women that could be
Or,
standing
for
up.
instance, what do you do with the clothes? I mean, your parents trust you in boy clothes. If my mom put me in a girl's clothes, I'd rip it off and throw it on the floor and say, absolutely not. I'd go to school naked.
You said what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
I said, what do you do about the clothes and how they dress you and how, on your birth certificate, it obviously says man. Your
No,
license,
I
you
went.
probably have to put that you're male. I don't know.
No, I went to
And
court.
your
No, I went.
state.
No, I went to court. I took care of my business.
So you can actually just change your gender? I
Yeah,
never did
you
that.
just gotta go to court. You gotta pay for it, but you gotta go to court, and you have to put you have to run the ad in the paper and stuff like that. That you're changing your name just in case you're a criminal trying to, get some type of thing. You have to go through the government. It's just, your social security, everything changes over and stuff.
So how much, is this cheap to do or is this a lot of money for somebody that's listening?
I went through a thing called Legal Zone, and they basically you send them your of course send the money, and then you send them your documents as far as your name and stuff, and your social security number, and they'll send you all the paperwork which you have to present to the federal court, the federal and down to the courts and stuff. So they do all the stuff for social security, and they just they just send all the paperwork. They just put the pins in it. You sign it and send it out. They'll send you a court date. You just got to go to court and stuff.
So basically, it's all legal now. So
Of course.
so did you actually have to change or are you still a man or male or whatever you want to
But
call it?
see, the thing about it, if I have to change or if I don't have to change, people still gonna consider me a man anyway. It's the same thing with Bruce Jenner, um, transitioning. Even though when she transitioned all the way over, they're still gonna call her a man.
Well, see, I think some of his was show. I think he did it to show. Why would he do some of the things he did if you were not trying to be show about it and
No, I don't think it's for show. My thing is this: is that he's
his thing is different, but he went on to these networks, he went in front of these tabloids, he went in front of these magazines, he
no
made
this
big deals out of stuff that I didn't think was a big deal. So what? You're becoming a woman. Fine, do it. So why do you got to go on a tabloid and have 16 different outfits and tell everybody that you're beautifuler than any other woman out there?
See, the thing about it is that what she's trying to do is bring awareness of the transgender and stuff like that. And the thing about it is that you have to understand the person is 65 years old. They've wasted their whole life being somebody that they wasn't. And it goes back to what I was saying as far as a woman being beaten by a man. When he does not live, when a man does not live his truth, these are the repercussions of it. You know, Caitlyn doesn't know how long she's gonna be here. She doesn't know how long her life is gonna be. But right about now, she's like, I'm living it to the fullest. I don't, I have no problem with that. Because I get it. She lived her life a lie all this time, and she's trying to do everything for everybody else. And now she's living her truth.
Is there a possibility of going too much? For instance, I've always said that if you're gay or you're anything. Let's say you're religion. Let's say you're like me that believes in multiple wives. I believe that people have a right to, laws they want. I believe, and I'm criticized for it. But I'm not going to go out there and say I want polygamy and dance around with my wives, and then expect no one to point the finger at me and say he's weird, he's crazy. I mean, if you're going to say you're something,
But see, you have
someone
to.
points the finger at you.
But see, this is the thing that I think you might be missing. Caitlin is 65 years old. 65 years old, which means that she may not be around as long as, most, if many. So at this point, you better live it up because you really may be on your last days.
Yeah, but what I'm saying for somebody that's listening to us right now, whether anything, is there too much where you could go to the extreme and then all of a sudden people are like, well, that's ridiculous and you're crazy for doing it? Anybody that's listening to us right now that may want to go for a change or has a change or whatever they want to do.
When you have been living your life for other people, nothing is never too much. Because now it is.
I agree with that.
Okay,
It's
so
basically like being a prisoner.
let me,
Now you want to
exactly
go
my
out there
point,
and have that
exactly
steak
my
dinner,
point.
so you're going to have a steak dinner every night, right?
Exactly my point. It's like a person being in prison and then finally they got out and they're like free. I mean, really free. So what are you going to do if you're free? You have all this money, and what are you going to do? You're going to live it up. You're not going to care what anybody has to say anymore because at that point you have paid the price for so long, and now you're living your life. I say go for it.
So maybe I should do that with my show. Now that I'm allowed to do whatever I want with my show, I should.
The thing about it
Here's
that you have
another
to understand,
question.
the most
Have you
important.
ever regretted anything you've done due to the change or what you've done?
The most important thing in life you have to understand, you have to be happy. That's all that's important. It doesn't matter if I'm not happy with your decision or if you're not happy, if someone else is not happy. You have to be happy with you because at the end of the day, when you are on that deathbed and you're about to die and you say, oh, if I should have did this, I should have did this. But me listening to other people, I didn't do these things because I thought if I did what they wanted me to do, that they would still care for me. But now I lived my whole life a lie and now I'm about to die and my whole life has been wasted. I lived my life for other people and I never got a chance to be happy. And now I'm about to die. So now I'm going to die unhappy. All for somebody else and not for you.
So what you're saying is instead of going away sad, you're going to do what you can to go away happy.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But,
Okay.
I believe sometimes there might be too much. I mean, somebody might do something to hurt the people the wrong way so they get even madder. Or people that work for you, you do something wrong and now they're against you.
But see, this is the thing. Let's just take the whole gay thing out and let's just say people. Don't we always see people in life that do a little too much?
Well, we do, but see, the
And
fact is that some topics out there.
But you know what? Let me take.
Marriage,
let me just.
gay community.
Let me just explain this. When we see people who do too much, you know what that let us know? They are living their life for them. You know what that also makes them? That makes them a leader. You know what happens to leaders? They end up becoming president. They end up with their own company. They end up doing things that everybody else couldn't do. There are a lot of eagles that fly alone. There are a lot of birds that fly with the rest. Now remember, the birds usually work for the eagles. So in order to be different or doing too much, that means you represent leadership. And I always say, do things to the max if that's the way you want to do it. You do you the best way you can. And if nobody don't like it, then fuck them. Oops.
Yeah. But I understand that.
You have to be happy. You have to be happy no matter what, you have to be happy. Because I'm going to be honest with you, people who tell you what not to do, most of the time they're doing those same things they're saying you shouldn't do.
Well, yeah, I found that out too. It's just like the same thing with the show. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, try that. But yeah, these people are obviously doing it. These people are obviously telling me not to do something, and they're doing it, and they're succeeding doing it. And half the time, I think they're saying not to because they don't want to see me succeed.
Of course.
It's,
Of
it's,
course. Of
it's
course. Do you know what
But when I succeed, I don't know why they can't just look at me and say, "Hey, that's great, wonderful," and everybody support each other. But
you
somehow in the world, people have missed that. Some people have.
do you know the worstest thing in the world to do is take advice from someone and then find out all this time that they've been doing exactly what they told you not to do?
Well, I sometimes do that too. I tell people not to do stuff, but that's because I've made a mistake doing it,
But
and somehow I turned the mistake around, and I don't want to see them fail. See, that's one thing in life I hate is failure. I don't want to fail at anything.
but see, in order to never fail, what makes you not human? In order to fail makes you human.
Well, maybe I'm not human then. I don't know.
Well, then, if
Those
that's
that
the
too.
case, if that's the case, then the whole world got a not human people. We're human beings. If you put too much on you, you'll never be happy.
Well,
You,
yeah, that's true too.
you have to allow yourself room to mess up and say, okay, that was a learning lesson I've learned.
You also have to give yourself room to breathe
Of
and
course.
room to take in what you've done. I mean, like, for instance, you changed your life. You just step back and say, okay, now here are the changes, and let's take a look at these things. And you just kept going. Some of the things, it's like a painting. You got to step back and look at it. Or, well, in today's world, you probably wouldn't screw up the painting because I've seen some things that were a little odd. But back in the day, if you were painting somebody's portrait and you realized their skin is green, and you didn't step back and take a look at it, that could be a failure right there.
And one thing I've learned in life is that in order to do anything in life, you always have to be prepared for failing. And you know what failing means? Failing means that's a person who tried to do it and it failed and it got right back up and it did it all over again. And no matter how many times you fail, that's not the problem. The problem is when you fail and you decide that was the last time. No matter failing means failing to me means somebody who is still trying and they failed and they still try and they fail and they're going to take it all the way to their grave because they did not give up versus the one who failed and said, that's it, I'm done.
Well, see, I've done that. I failed and said, maybe I'm done with that. I'm going to do this now, and I succeeded doing the other thing. Or if I kept doing the other thing that I failed at, I probably would have still been a failure.
But see, it's okay to fail. You also have to allow yourself room to mess up. That's what makes you human. That's what makes us
Yeah.
all human. We're all going to make mistakes when everything is not going to go according to plan. And we have to understand that.
Yeah. Okay, here is the other question we have for you. Has there ever been a time that you looked back and said, what if I had done what my parents have said? Maybe stuff would have been like this, and I still would have been successful at something. In other words, if they wanted you to be a man, and you said, okay, I'll be a man. Have you ever looked back and said, I wonder what would happen with my life if I had done that?
See, the thing about that is, it's hard for me only because I always used to think I was acting like a man, but everybody always told me I was acting like a girl. And it's funny how you could try to be something that you're not, and everybody else can see it but you. And to me, I wasn't a hitting. I was hitting from myself, but I wasn't hitting from everyone else. And when I say that, in my mind, I was doing everything like a boy, but to everyone else, I was doing everything like a girl.
Well, your mind said this is your girl, and that's what you were doing.
But see,
And the rest of the world,
this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing. When you are a certain way, you don't do things with your mind. You just do it. Just like when you get
yeah.
up and you have to go to the bathroom, you just get up, you just go. When I have to be who I am, I just get up and I go. Just like you're a man, you're a man. You don't decide. This is just what you are. You get up and you go. I get up and I go, but then I was told that's not what you're supposed to do. because you're a certain way. But to me, I was just being myself until I was struck that that's not what I'm supposed to do. So when I call myself doing what I'm supposed to do, I was never really doing it because it wasn't who I was.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have within a lot of people who have, little young gay children or trans children. We reconstruct them into what we want them to be, and we send them on to life to do everything that's not for them. And then they come confused. Why do this fail? Why do that fail? Because you've been reprogrammed for someone else's liking. Now you're doing all these careers. Now you're doing all these dreams, and they all keep failing because that's not what you were supposed to do. If your parents
Yeah.
would have left you the way you was, you would be going in the direction you want to go. Now you can't understand where it's coming from. It came from them. Now you're drinking. Now you're using drugs. Now you can't deal with this. Now you can't deal with that because you've been reconstructed over to be someone else instead of who you was. Now you're a lost person.
Yeah. See, I think for some of the people like yourself, being a lost person is worse.
Of course.
Is worse than somebody making fun of you kind of deal.
This is the thing that gets me, when I watch people who are homeless and stuff, and it bothers me. It really bothers. It always bothers me. Like I can have close to nothing in my pocket, and I'll give them like 90% of what I have. The thing about it is that these are people who had dreams and goals and things in life, and they have suffered hard breaks. And I don't know what got you to the point where, they got put out or somebody made them snap or something. But these are people who had a life. No one just decided, okay, I'm just going to be a homeless person. They've been broken. And people look down at them, oh, well, they this and this and that. You don't know what broke them to the point they couldn't deal with it anymore. And that's the thing about it. I don't never ask them their story because their story is none of my business and it's not my journey. However, I can have compassion for them and say, well, you know what? I get it. If someone would have left you or did you right, you wouldn't be here. But a lot of times people can't deal with the abuse of another person or society's treatment or what society tells you need to do.
Yeah. I understand that. And it also is that a lot of it is people's choices may not have been choices. It may have been planned, or I don't know the word for it, but forced upon them. So when people walk up to a homeless person and say, get a job or something, maybe they're like myself who's tried to apply for jobs, or like, you said you were trying to do jobs, or many of the other listeners trying to get a job, and here you can't do it, and that's why you're there, because, somebody has forced you to be there. It's not your choice to be there. You'd be somewhere else.
I always say you better be nice to everybody because you never know which door you're going to knock on and open it up and they'll be standing there.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I know that very well. I've witnessed it. I've been nice to people. I've been good to people in my own, where I live here. And come to find out they were somebody else of a higher position or something. Or somebody has asked me for money on the bus. And I gave them, the fare for the bus and said, don't worry about it. Come to find out that guy was trying to go to work because his car was down. And he's one of those, higher up corporate people. I didn't know that. He was trying to go to work because his car was in a garage. Now the guy's one of my friends. And I would have never known that he was a higher up. The way he was dressed and everything looked like he was just somebody asking for money. But I said, okay, and I gave him $2. Now, I don't give everybody an ask for money. I don't know if they call it discriminatory, but I kind of choose because some people will ask for money and they'll go out and spend it on beer.
Well, I don't give everybody money either now.
Well, I say, okay, what happens if the guy is hot and tired and he wants to have a beer? And he's homeless and he wants a beer, just like me or you or anybody else. He wants a beer that day because he wants to pass out and forget about his worries.
Now, I can't,
I mean?
right, I can't say I haven't done it. I bought people stuff. I mean, I've done it. I bought people beer. I bought people food. I bought people clothes. I done it all. So I can't say what I won't do because I learned in life is that there are people who care about people and they'll say, oh, I'm never going to do it again, but you're a caring person. You're going to do it again, but you're not going to know you're doing it. Before you realize what you're doing, you're already doing it.
Yeah.
And then there's a person who people who don't give a damn, and when they say they don't care, they could walk past a homeless person and grab their money, whatever, and keep on going, and they really don't care. And I've learned it too within that. And I'm definitely not, even though I could get mad, when a person who gets mad at you, who cares about people, they'll get mad. They always say, I'm never going to do it again, but they are going to do it because they're just built that, they're cut from that cloth.
Yeah, and like I've always said, I'm not going to give you the shirt off my back because then I'm without a shirt. But I'll go buy you a shirt if you need one. You know what I mean?
Right,
My family's always taught me if someone needs something, give them what they need. Do not make yourself suffer for another person unless you have to. I mean, if you're going in a burning building and the roof falls on you instead of them, that's a different story altogether there. But it's a good example. But if somebody needs something, help them get that so that they can have it. Instead of you, like me being without a shirt for today, I'll just go get somebody a shirt, and then we can both have too.
right.
And here's another question that has come up here from our in here. Why do people like yourself? When I say like yourself, I'm not making fun of you or putting you in a category here. Why do you consider yourselves to be trannies and LGBTs if you have legally and in your mind, first of all, you're biologically that way. Some people describe it as a soul being in a wrong body. I describe it as you're biologically a woman. So why then do you call yourself a tranny? Why do you call yourself gay? If in fact you're a woman, you date men. So a man with a woman is not being gay.
Right. Well, see, this,
Why do you and the rest of the community that does that? Why do you do that? If you're a woman, you should just say, I'm a woman, and not worry about the gay community. You can advocate for them. Anybody can advocate for them or anything. If you're already that, why would you try to describe yourself as something else?
well, see, I agree with you there. When I'm on the streets and stuff, I don't ever tell about my training. I don't go through all that mess. When I go online, I talk about it because it helps people because they go by my pictures and stuff like that. So I try to cut the BS short. But the thing about it is that when you are trans, it kind of cut a lot of the BS talk out. If you can't quite explain to a guy, because some guys knows and some guys don't still. And the thing about it is like it just cuts all the BS talk. Oh, well, I was born a certain way, but now I'm trans and move on. I don't do all that though. When I'm in person, I'll just sit there and no, it's none of your business what I am. But as far as getting with a man and something like that, of course I have to tell him from the door because I don't want to mislead him if I'm interested in him.
Yeah. And here's another question that goes with that. Is there some point where you stop identifying or somebody, like say a tranny, they're a man and they turn into a woman, or they become a woman, or somehow they're now a woman? I don't know if they turn into it, become it, whatever it is. I don't like use the word turn or become because it's
It
not like
don't
a
matter.
werewolf becoming a werewolf or something.
Right. It's okay.
When does it become the fact that they can stop identifying themselves with that and say who they truly are? Even with worry, people are going to make fun of you no matter what you do. Should there be a time that somebody, for our listeners that are listening to this, and maybe in this situation, or maybe they know somebody, or maybe they want to help people, when is it that person should stop calling themselves this and completely go like yourself? You were a man, then you changed, you legally. Is there a time frame when they should say, listen, I'm not a tranny anymore, I'm a woman, I'm going to be called a woman, I'm going to be a woman, and that's the way it is?
Well, see, this is the
Not
thing.
me saying I'm a woman. I meant the person saying I'm a woman.
When most girls like me are around each other, we don't call each other trannies. We call each other a woman. We don't never call ourselves that. When it comes to dealing with a man or something like that, we'll say that for them, but we don't call each other that at all. We definitely don't say, oh, I'm a tranny. We say, I'm a woman. And a lot of
When
us,
should the time be that they look at him like, if you were coming up to me and I was in a bar and you were going to hit on me?
Right.
When is the time that you stop going up to the man and saying, "Hey, I'm this," and just act normal, and never let the man know.
Right. Well, first of all, I wouldn't come up to him because I
I
would.
know you would come up to me if you saw me
No,
in the
I
bar.
wouldn't know.
So,
I don't come up to no man. I'm not a man fan right now, so I think it's gonna take a little bit more therapy for that. But the thing about it with me is that as far as letting him know, you just let him know. I let him know on the phone, or I get or I'll text message him if I was interested. But normally, knowing me, I wouldn't be interested.
uh,
I have to get to the point where I'm back to being a man fan, but I'm not a man fan right now, so I have to wait till I'm ready to deal with the BS of him. Because when a man deals with
yeah.
a girl like me, he's confused. He don't know what to do. He wants to be with you, but he's scared what people are gonna say. Then if he fall in love with you, he's mad at you because you made a. It's just it's basically raising a baby when you get a man that wants to be with you, and if you're willing to go through the steps of
Nice. Now you're calling us nice babies. That's nice.
right, but if you're willing to go through the baby steps with him and try to encourage him, like a mother raises her kid and she goes yes and she claps her hand, good, if you're willing to go through that with him, more power to you. I'm just not.
I never did that with my daughter. No, I don't know that experience. She walked, and I'm saying, "Good, you walked, okay."
No, I'm saying, when you teach your kids different things when you have babies and they get the answer right and you go, ooh, that's basically what I see when I think of a man. You got to teach them. And I'm just not in a class of teaching anyone right about now. I'll be the substitute teacher, and then when they walk in, I'll just walk out.
I wonder if any woman thinks that about us men.
Well, see, you have to understand.
Or we have to be trained and stuff like animals or something.
No, most men already come from watching porn, or their women, females, have dildos that they've been doing them in.
So I hope everybody knows that listening to my show that porn is fake. It's scripted.
Of course.
It's basically worse than professional wrestling. Well, professional wrestling is real. Let's get that for a fact. But porn is scripted. Most of those women, if you saw those women without makeup on, just like I said, and I've always said this. If you want to send me a photo of yourself and you're a woman, send me it at 3 in the morning when you just woke up to go to the bathroom. Because that's what I'm going to have to sleep next to and live with for the rest of my life. I'm not going to live with that girl made up and makeup and everything else.
But you know what?
If you looked at some of these porn stars, you would probably be disgusted at what they really look like before they make them up to be what they are.
Right. But you know what's funny? Like you just said that, and this is the thing that gets me. And when guys be like, you look, because you see my pictures and stuff on Facebook, and they be like, oh my God, you're going to put that outfit on. Now, this is the thing that gets me. Why do I have to dress up for you when you're going to come over with a shirt and a pair of pants on?
Well, I wouldn't come over with a shirt and pair of pants on. I'd look nice.
What would you consider looking nice?
Well, do you want me to come over? Would you rather me come over with a shirt and a pair of pants on than you would be in my undies or something? I mean,
No, I want you to come over with a tux on. I want you to come over with a tux on. And
well, I'm not getting. Listen, I'm not the kind of man to dress up, and I don't expect the
but
women
see
to
what I
dress
mean?
up.
Now you understand my point.
Wake up. See,
Now you understand my
opinion,
point.
wake up in the morning, get out of bed, make sure you have make sure your clothes, you have nice clothes on. Not, I would say dress up.
But do you
Put on nice clothes for the day. Walk out the door, and we go out and have dinner. Okay, comb your hair like back, But you don't gotta wear all that makeup. You
but
weren't
see
born with the makeup on.
but see that's a double standard, because I feel like if a woman needs to do all those things for him, he needs to do better than a pair of jeans or sneakers and a shirt.
See, I don't.
I've watched women. I watch
I wore
women.
tux one time in my entire life, and it was to the bomb. And I hated every moment I was in the thing.
But see, the thing is that with a woman, she's advertising her goods for him, and he's the buyer. Now, to me, if you're not selling anything, he's not the buyer. So my thing is this: is that when she does all those luxuries for him, I think he should do a lot more luxury even for her. Showing her with a shirt and a pair of pants and some shoes is just not going to work for me. If I have to do all these nice things for you, then you got to do the effort to do the same thing for me.
Well, showed up at your door with a tux on, what would you do? You'd probably slam the door in my face and say bye.
Huh?
If I showed up with a tux at your door, what would you do?
Yeah, put a tie on.
I don't even think I could fit in a tux. Do you
See,
think I
listen to
could
this.
fit in one?
It doesn't, it does, that was just, just an idea as far as text. But I'm just saying, he doesn't, a man, when is the last time a man went on a date with a woman and he put a suit on? He come pick his girl up with a,
Why would I wear a suit
see?
to go out to dinner? I'm going to get sauce on my tie. I'm going to get people staring at me. I'm going to get a waitress that's going to bump me and wrinkle my suit.
So you don't
And
think
other people that are be staring at me and stuff.
so you trying to tell me that you care more what society feels instead of the woman that's you coming
I
to
have
see?
on right now is a shirt with a black shirt, a pair of jeans, my new sneakers, and that's it. That's exactly what I'll go into a date with. I'll go into an interview like this.
And this is the thing. So you trying to say the job is more important than the woman laying next to you in the bed, as you per se, than you sitting putting a suit on and a tie, making yourself look just as nice for her.
But why would she have to dress up for me?
Because she wants to impress you.
Well, impressing me better is waking up, combing your hair back, putting your hair in a ponytail, getting something on, and walking out the door and meeting me, because that's natural. If someone's going to get married, they're going to have to lay next to somebody that's going to wake up at 3 in the morning and look like, a zombie.
Yeah,
you have to realize somebody is going to come home from work, take a shower, sit on the couch, read a book, or watch TV. They're not going to look like that the rest of their lives.
I understand, but you're talking about we're talking about day one. First impressions are everything, and men will say that they don't have a problem with it, but if she walks in with jeans on, no makeup, stuff like that, and another girl walks in with makeup on, looking good, he's looking at her.
I don't look at her. I look at the girl I'm with. Why would I look at another woman when I'm with a woman? Either that, or my mom has taught me absolutely good manners, because I believe in opening a door for a woman. If you're going to the car to open a car door for you, I don't believe in giving you flowers, because I'm not going to go out and kill something and then say you're not, I like you, but I killed a living thing. I'd rather buy you flowers that you can plant and, have hanging on your porch or something. If you're going somewhere, you're going in first, because it's ladies first. Either that or my mom brought me up to it. Because when I was a kid.
No, but I'm not saying, and just in reference to you per se. I'm talking about men. When the last time you saw a man go on a date with a woman, he had a suit on and she got on her heels and a nice outfit?
I have no idea. I honestly
you don't. But you don't.
Other people.
But see, my point.
I've seen a girl come in with a nice dress on. It looked like they were, out to a nice restaurant, and he had his pants down halfway down to his ass, showing his damn underwear. The guy looked like he couldn't even. The guy talked like he didn't even know, or didn't even try to even form his words. And this guy was not a black man. He was a white man, just like me. Okay, so we're not being racist here, okay?
Right.
The guy had sunglasses on that he didn't take off, and I'm thinking to myself, if it's that bright in here, maybe you have an eye problem and has a medical emergency right now and should not be here. He refuses to even talk to the girl. He sits to the side and texting on his phone. When they sat down, all he did was just eat his food and then text on his phone while she sat there and just stared out the window. I mean, you got to communicate with the woman. Put your phone away. Unless, like my daughter, if I was on a date with a girl and my daughter texted me, "Hey, Daddy, I need help," I would pay attention to it. I'd look at the text, realize it's nothing important, put the phone back, and that's the way it is.
But I agree with you. I agree with everything you said. I agree with everything you said. I agree with everything you said.
That you're going to be somewhere, and that if you don't answer the phone, to leave a damn message, which, by the way, listeners, nobody knows how to leave a damn message anymore. They call me up, they hang up the phone, okay, leave a message, or they leave a message like, pick up, can you pick up? No, I can't pick up, it's not an answering machine, it's a cell phone. I can't hear you yelling, pick up. For God's sakes, get with the times here, okay? I realize if I was home and had a home phone that you could yell pick up. I wish I could honestly have it on. I wish there was a way I could turn on the answer machine so people could yell pick up, and look stupid in front of everybody else.
You're right.
But there's not. So stop saying pick up the phone when I'm on a cell phone and can't hear you. And even when I am on the house phone, if I'm in the bathroom, what am I going to do? Run through the house with paper sticking out of my ass to get the phone because you say pick up? I mean, come on. I mean, really. And plus, why would you, if somebody calls, I would be like, hi, it's Wade. Leave a message, give you my phone number. Why would you pick up the phone for somebody going, pick up the phone? Where are you? Why can't you pick up the phone and being an ignorant ass in your answering machine? Why would you pick up the phone for somebody like that in the first place? And then they don't leave a number. If you're going to say pick up, why can't you pick up the damn phone? Oh, my number is such and such. Not just hang up and never give them a number to call back to find out who the ass was that decided to yell pick up in your cell phone.
Right.
I mean, and the cell phone thing, don't text me. Don't, be across the way and text me, ladies. Why don't you, call me on the phone and speak to me in your voice on your phone? Don't text me and say, what are you doing? So
I agree.
have to write, and then when I say nothing, to make the text real simple so I don't have to write a whole paragraph, you write back, oh, nothing? And then want me to speak more. Well, why don't you call me and ask me what I'm doing so we can conversate together?
I agree.
I don't get this generation. I mean, maybe it was like this with the other generations. I mean, maybe in the day you had people screaming, pick up in your answering machine all day after.
I agree.
Maybe, people never did open the doors then for people. I remember if I didn't open the door for a woman and I was out in public, my mom would smack me.
That's a good mom.
I let my mom go first. Open the doors for my mom. When we went to the car, I'd make sure she was in the car, and then I got in the car. Now, I don't like getting in the driver's seat in the car with somebody in the car just in case something happens. I like to be behind the wheel. I like to be in control of the car. If somebody hits the car or something, the neighborhood I live in, if something else happens, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want, I'm a little lenient on that, but if the woman wants to get in first, she can get in. And don't get in the car and start making yourself up like a clown either. You said that some girls make themselves up. What is this with? Girls making themselves up to look like Ringling Brothers clowns. With so much makeup on, you can see it powdered on their face.
The girls do because
I want to kiss somebody. I don't want to kiss makeup. I want to kiss somebody's skin. Thank you.
Right.
Now you're probably thinking this guy's a jerk. He just made fun of my makeup.
No, because I don't really wear makeup unless I'm doing, videos and stuff. So, I understand what you're saying and stuff. You want the real person.
You don't really have videos. Go ahead and let everybody know what they are, and let everybody know how to contact you. So if there's people out there that need help, if you have stuff, you want to.
Okay. Well, my videos is on YouTube, which is Raven Over. That's Raven, Raven, Over, Oveh. And that's on YouTube. And also, you can email me if you don't want to, leave a message out there. Same name, ravenover@yahoo.com.
People can answer right away. If there's an urgent problem,
usually I check my email every day. So if someone wants to contact me and stuff like that, they can easily contact me. I check my email, or they can also hit me up on YouTube because I also reply back to that as well. Just don't put nothing in that inbox and stuff because I can never figure out how to. Remember when you had this discussion before? I don't know how to work that message box, and I don't know how to get in there. So for some reason, if you leave me a message inside of there,
it's on the sidebar now. I think you go into the sidebar into your videos, and I think it's one of the community things on YouTube. I don't know either. They changed it again. Now they're making all messages, whether it's spam or not or anything related. I know on mine, on Google Plus, it'll come up that you have messages.
Well, I usually get it.
All the YouTube messages too now.
I usually get it from my email, so when I get the messages. But For some reason with YouTube, it's always been a problem for me trying to get my messages and stuff. Some people leave messages and I never get it. And then someone will say something and I'll click back and I'll see all these messages that I never even got, I never knew was there. So,
Now, I also have another suggestion. People could, like on my YouTube, if you want to contact me or be a guest on the show or anything, I tell people to leave something saying, please contact me, and a way to contact you. But then again, on YouTube, you also have jerks out there that'll start spamming you. But in today's world, I guess spam is nothing to people anymore.
yeah, like I said before, it's also Raven over on Facebook, Raven over on Yahoo.com, Raven over on YouTube, and Raven over on Twitter. So it's the same thing as, Twitter, um, Skype,
So go ahead and get that. That email is Raven and then the
OVAH.
OVEE.
OVA is an apple, H is in Harry. O is an opposite, V is in Victor, A is in apple, H is in house.
Raven Oval
At yahoo.com.
Yahoo.com.
Or at Facebook. Or at Skype.
Yeah.
Or Twitter.
Twitter. Now, I
Yes.
have a Twitter too, Wild Wacky Wade. I also have an email, the Wild and Wacky Wade at yahoo.com.
Okay.
Maybe we could link each other in our YouTube. I don't know how that works either.
Well,
I tried to do that.
you could always send me the link on, or I could send it to you, my link. We can link it, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah. And there's one more question before we have to get going here today. If there's somebody out there that is like this, that has problems or not sure of their life, what other places are there to go to besides yourself? Are there national things you can go to? Is there, in my area, there's a number you can now call. There's a small group in my area. There's even a church in my area that has meetings and stuff, I guess. I don't know. I see this stuff in the Penny Saver. I see this stuff in our advertisement paper that I put an ad for my showing. So that's all I know about this stuff, folks. Don't think I'm, secretly, doing something here, folks. But where would people go if they needed help? Besides contacting me, somebody really needs to talk. I would say they could contact me and I could get in touch with you or get in touch with you. But is there anywhere else they can go in their community right away if they have issues and they need help?
Well, they could also Google LGBT, and they could also put in their state, and it should come up on their state where they're, whether it's LGBT community within that center, within the center of their state or city.
Yeah. And all right. Well, folks, we're almost closing on our time frame we have here. Even on YouTube, we have a time frame, unfortunately. So I thank you for having you as a guest.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be in contact with you again here on the show. If anybody wants information about the show, the rest of the shows are in our playlist. You can go to Maria's website. You can go to her YouTube as well. She has some great videos up there. Mine is Wild and Wacky Wade at yahoo.com. And folks, I'll see you next time here on the Wild and Wacky Wade Show. Bye.